The fruit, yeah, the fruit is in the nut. Exactly. The fruit is in the nut. Okay, so that's what's going on when you have culturally on a worldwide scale, the white man's job was to tear this out, to be a catalyst to tear this out. There's a catalyst thing. Because what did Hopi say? That they represent fire, desire, and ambition. You see? Will bring you to a point of opening this up. So it's not all bad. You know? A matter of fact, now any also questions on this stuff. So we've all been in the process now of breaking away, not only just from our cultural connection traditions, but to get to the very access level of the core essence of what all keeps us together.
You know,
what keeps us together.
I think, now I think back to not necessarily religion, popular, but the religion, the Mayan culture.
Yeah.
The priest recognized that when he saw in the vision the white men come on ships,
yeah,
he recognized that purpose to come.
Mm-hmm.
But they failed to prepare themselves for it. They ended up some being destroyed, but he and others who were the secrets of the jungle, which is reserved for the
tradition.
Yeah.
The assimilation had to happen because it was a peeling of the onion, a peeling of the layers.
I don't know. Why do you have to conquer that red, so to speak, animal?
Easy one right there. Because that red dragon thing.
Yeah.
That red dragon thing had to do with conquering the animal of our ego.
Why he had to do that? I mean,
because
I know she said it was 5 who's ever did it before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because if you don't conquer the beast, the beast, you know how they talk about the great beast, the great horde? If you don't conquer the beast, you can't bring deliverance to yourself or anyone else.
He's personified as the top beast that preyed on everybody else.
Yes.
So to me, the truth, what the whole concept of the king is before that, you don't know anything like that. You didn't work to do something new.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But it's one more. What it's dealing with is the worst parts of ourselves that we don't ever want to deal with.
That's the beast of the field.
Yeah. The basest animal and the basest animal and the most subtle parts of us that we never want to deal with. But when someone is willing to face that, because I'll tell you, let me give you a biblical description of the beast. The beast is when Jacob went to wrestle with the angel. Mm-hmm. The beast is when Yeshua went into the wilderness. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the beasts that we're all having to deal with. When you're able to conquer the beast, then you're able to become a deliverer. Y'all ever seen the Sphinx in Egypt, which has the head of a man over a lion?
Yeah.
It's controlling the beast with divine intelligence, with the spiritual mind. Okay? Now, him controlling that beast is what allowed those other beasts of the field to do what? Come on his side.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
So that's what happened. You are able to have a much greater range of control when you control the beast inside of you. Okay, the Caiaphas, the high priest, the Pharaoh. When we conquer those things, then things begin to align with us.
And can I say something to that? Because when you're not trying to deal with yourself, and that beast looked more furious than all the other ones. I mean, but when you're trying to deal with yourself, it's just.
You look more furious.
Yeah.
You look ugly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It looks tragic.
Exactly.
You know?
So now I see why it was the color it was.
Yeah, and remember what it said. That mug never got hunted. It hunted everything else.
Yeah.
Now, remember this. Did you hear what he said, though? He said, I figured if this beast never is hunted, why don't I approach it from above? Because it'll never think about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what is that talking about? Okay, you can't strive intellectually with the beast inside of you because the beast consumes intellect. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
It consumes it and it issues it out. I was about to say something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, now, when you see, yo, for real, my spirit sends these kids and it shut it down. Because I'm about to say it. I'm like, no, Carol, I'm like, no way. Now, you remember when he said, yo, Jesus eat this bread, blah, blah, blah. Beast was talking to him, but he said, not by this, but blah, 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 but every word that proceeds by the word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What he was doing is taking an approach that was not on the level of the beast. He took an approach that was above it, using the word of God.
Okay.
Y'all see that?
Yeah.
So the word of God means to change your intentions, your desires and intent from trying to figure how you can deal with a thing and still get what you need, and go into a position of the Creator will provide regardless of what circumstances are. The beast can't comprehend that, and that's how you get the drop on it.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
And then what happens is, and we've always said this, you don't destroy the ego. You don't destroy it. You ride it. You ride it like a horse and you direct it. That's what we're talking about before when we're talking about being able to channel Yahweh. You direct Yahweh, you're directing the powers of creation through your ego.
Okay.
Because one more thing I want to say with that, listen to this. The ego becomes stronger when you get to that place because you learn how to control it. A horse is much better when it's being directed rather than out in the wild, because out in the wild it's only going with its instincts.
Right.
But when you're riding it, you're taking care of it, you're nurturing it, you're upkeeping it, and you're able to harness its more natural made strengths for a higher purpose. Does that make sense?
It does.
But not before the cartoon.
Yes, and that's why I love in the movie where it said, how will you know which of these little bird creatures you can fly?
Yeah.
When they try to kill you.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing, go back to Jesus. He in the desert, the bread issue, survival. You see that? He's fighting for his life. So until you're fighting for your life with your ego, you can't get into a position to use a spiritual desire and intent to rise above your existence and come into a desire to connect with the Creator.
So that's why all these things are happening to individuals now that they never thought would happen and that they felt when it first happened was okay.
Yeah.
Those things that we say that we have never dealt with, we have to come face to face with them.
Yeah.
Why? Because if we don't, then the ego is never brought under control. Ever. And the thing about it is that when we first come face to face with it, we stand toe to toe with it, and it beats the hell out of us every single time. But when we step back from it and say that my desire is not to control it, but to not allow it to control me, and then rise above it, and now all of a sudden, the very thing that you thought was going to destroy you becomes your servant. You know, it doesn't. And religion taught us all these taboos that we said would never happen to us. That now all of them seem to be happening, and we don't know what to do with it.
It's in your face.
Yeah, and we don't know what to do with it.
That's cool.
You want to open the drawer and stick it in there and nail the drawer shut.
Yeah, nails bust out.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Go ahead.
The comment with I see you, so that there's something there about the level of connection and I guess kind of dealing with one another beyond ego or mask or something.
Yeah, when I drew that shell up, right? The thing dealing with when they were saying I see you, and then she explained it, she said, no, not I see you, body. She said, I see you.
Was it his essence?
Yes. Yes. That is the thing that when you look in a lot of the books of the Bible that Paul wrote, when he says he's talking about bearing one another's burdens, and he also talks about treat the other man better than yourself. Those were practices to get you to a place of recognizing the essence in each other.
So kind of to that, what I'm thinking of is the scene where he, they break the habitat chamber so that noxious atmosphere starts coming and he's starting to die and he, so his body fails and she comes in and she has to help him. And so she sees the him of face can,
Exactly. And you